Hello and welcome to another week of chess openings with me, Slag, as we go over all the basic chess openings and gambits that you can learn as a new beginning chess player. This week we're going over the Halloween Gambit, which is a fun 4 knights variation that is sure to knock your opponent off its guard if it's never seen it before. So without further ado, let's just jump into it. The first thing that we're gonna do to set up the gambit is if both pawns meet on e4 and e5, we go the knights. I, as white, like to go with the c3 knight first, just because I can transpose into a Vienna gambit if this black knight on f6 doesn't come out. I then go with g3 and black comes out with c6. To do the Halloween Gambit, this needs to happen. If any other opening move happens, you cannot do the Halloween Gambit. So the next thing white wants to do is they want to take this pawn and black takes the knight there. We then push up our pawn, attacking this knight, forcing it to retreat, which we then push this up, attacking this knight where this pawn is further defended. Now, most of the time they'll bring it back here and you'll want to kick up the bishop here to c4, attacking this square. Black will try to get some sort of counterplay, in which case you bring out the queen, threatening checkmate. Now, this was a game that I had when I first played the Halloween Gambit and it worked out perfectly. Because what happened next was the black kicked out the knight here to defend this pawn, which was in turn a really bad move because I took there. He thought he had a bishop to trade, but it really just left this queen open for the checkmate there. And that's the best case scenario. If you can get this, you win. And I've won on this probably 3 times in the past week, and I probably played this unsuspecting probably, I don't know, 10 times. So it's a pretty surprising win rate at the below 1000 elo level. So next up, we will go over what will normally happen when you play this gambit. You set up the gambit as so. You take, we go. He'll bring it back. We'll bring up the pawn. It's looking just like before. We bring out the bishop. They bring out that counterplay. We bring out the queen, and then they ruin it with this f6 pawn. Sucks. You're not gonna get the not gonna get the checkmate. But the best thing that you can do for the engine is not even worry about these 2 pawns. It's to push up here, trying to attack this knight later on. So they'll take one of your pawn. You just pick up. He's not gonna take this pawn here. He's gonna retreat this knight back here, and you just bring this bishop out here, and you have an even game at this point. So the gambit just didn't work out for you. And next up, we have another common variation with the gambit. Everything gets set up, take, and we attack with the pawn. But this time, black moves this knight over to the c6 square again. You then, instead of attacking with this pawn and attacking this knight, we go here, just because the lines are a little bit better than you have with black. Black will then come back to the middle, and you can then push this pawn up here, attacking the black knight. They'll retreat, and it's looking just like a normal game. They'll take, you take, and black will sometimes kick this queen out, trying to attack this pawn and trying to get some counterplay going. And we attack this and defend this pawn here because this is already actually guarded by the bishop. And that's basically where you go from here. As white, you're still down because they got your knight for a pawn. But you are threatening this move right here that is defended by this pawn, getting you a free rook. So what will probably happen is they'll either move there or they'll move the king here. We'll go over that in another line. Now, next up, we have a more uncommon line, but one that's still important to know the theory behind it. It starts the same, knight going to c6, we go there, they bring it back, we bring the pawns up, and instead of the queen going here and attacking the pawn, double attacking the pawn here, it goes here and attacks the pawn. You still want to bring this up here because it can attack the knight here and brings because it brings the there and the pawn's there, so the knight can still attack the rook on a fork there. So what will happen is the king will have to bring the rook over here. We bring the pawn over there, attacking the knight, and the knight can just basically go here and retreat. They have to waste moves, putting you up in a better position. This puts you white up actually at half a point rather than down a point and a half, and if the queen goes over here. So you'd like to see this happen, but this barely ever happened in any of my games. Next up, we are going to look at when black attacks with the bishop in the gambit. So we take, throw the knight back, and instead he's inviting us to take the knight while the bishops might take our knight. We're going to take the bishop or the knight right away. The bishop sometimes will attack there, but it's a bad move because you get the queen. And you just bring this bishop here to fortify this pawn because this knight no longer can move. So that's the end of the line there. This puts black up at around a quarter point. So it's not much of an advantage for black, and they have a weakened pawn structure here, still inviting a lot of development by white. So the next variation is what happens when white tries to attack the bishop with the pawn. So we'll set it up as normally. We attack, bring it in, and we bring the bishop in, attacking this pawn here. This pawn will come here, attacking the bishop and stopping this moment. So you are not going to want to put that queen out. You're just going to take the bishop because it is fortified by the knight. They'll attack with the pawn there, and we'll have to retreat some more. And that is the end of the line. From there, you just play standard strong chess. It doesn't seem deceptive because you got a pawn out of it, but you're actually down 1.5 points again from black, and so black's a better off position going with this variation here. And the final variation is the variation that kills the gambit right in the beginning and is probably best for black. So we set it up, go normal, and then queen comes out here. So you can no longer really develop these pieces because it's stopped by the knight. You can't even take the knight because the queen is now in front of is locking in the pawn. It's pinning the pawn there. So the best thing for you to do is get this bishop out. They'll bring the knight back and you just castle. And that puts black at about a 2-point advantage there. So that is definitely the variation that you don't want to see when you are white, because it kills all hope and you're not in a terrible position, but you could be in a lot better. You sacrifice a knight for nothing. So if you like that video, please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I come out with a new chess opening video every week as I try to improve my elo score in my chess journey. I also stream on Twitch every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday from about 6:30 to about midnight, around that time frame. Please drop by, come play me in the chess, and help me learn these openings best so that I can provide the best quality content in these videos for you. Next week, we're going to be going over the King's Indian defense. It's long overdue. I've been playing a lot of variations of the King's Indian defense, but this time I should go over the actual theory of the King's Indian so I'm a better repertoire when things don't go my way. We'll see you then, and yeah. Good ending to the video, right?